Hey folks, welcome to the Wealth Transfer with TC. Today I'm going to share some prophetic dreams dealing with a Bitcoin crash to zero, and as well as a market index slash commodity that's also going to go to zero. Now, before I go any further, folks, in discussing this, I am not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing information, giving you my thoughts and my opinions on that information. If you guys like these videos that I make, the support links are down below in the description and also the About section of YouTube. All right, so the first thing is that I'm going to be making multiple videos and getting them out all before the beginning of the year. And a lot of these will be very important. This is all leading up to discussing Dr. Maria Conwell's blind bull dream dealing with XRP. And so with the XRP case, it looks like we're almost at a point to where we are going to get a summary judgment. And Christopher Harris did say that it would not go in the way of XRP, and then it looks like there'd be some type of appeal, and then everything would be resolved. There's some other people that are sharing that there's going to be some type of settlement, and I don't know how the settlement would work or if it's going to favor both the SEC and XRP. I don't think that would actually cause a crash, so to speak, but a ruling against XRP I could see really could. All this remains to be seen. Also, I do want to point out that people are asking me like a lot of questions about who I'm following and so forth as far as prophets, and wanting me to point out every single prophecy for this coin and that coin and all this stuff. Folks, I need you guys to go back and listen to a lot of the videos, especially over the last 14 months, especially when it comes to the Bitcoin flash crash, because we have been setting our buy limit orders for Bitcoin fishing for 14 months now, right? So this has been going on for some time. Some of the stuff that people are asking me to do, there's just no way I have time to sit there and, try to put together a list. That's why I have the documents, because the documents detail the most important information concerning God's wealth transfer. There might be not every single prophecy or every single dream or vision is there. That would be way too much to put in, and a lot of it is repetitive anyways. So I tried to include the most important information. That's what the documents are there for. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into this. So this is a channel called God's Algorithm. The link to his channel will be down below in the description. So make sure you give a subscribe, because he's been putting out other videos, and I think that people need to pay attention to what he's saying. He calls himself Algo, and he also is a Forex trader too as well. And the title of this is Dream Bitcoin Flash Crash 20K to Sub-Zero, Negative Levels, Algorithm Hack, and Dollar Goes to Zero. So when I play this video, I will stop at certain points to make some comments.
Hello, everybody. My name is Algo. I'll just leave it as Algo for namesake. I'm making this video to just put out there some things that I was shown regarding the BTC flash crash, which is something I didn't really believe in. I didn't think it was, I thought it was just people just having dreams, just to have dreams, I guess. It wasn't something that was prevalent to me, nor did I think it was anything that was real. I was quickly proven wrong. Quickly before I give the dream, I'm a Forex trader. I've been trading Forex I've been trading Forex officially since 2017. So about 6 years. So I have a little bit of skin in the game, I would say. So I know very well basically how the markets work, basically. So I'm very aware of a lot of things that, the general person, day-to-day person wouldn't know. And so, as a trader, where you learn to rely on logic, facts, and certain probabilities. That is what leads you to surviving these markets. Trading these markets take a lot of skill and a lot of psychological stamina. So that's what I do. One of the main things that I do in my spare time. Hearing about these BTC flash crashes, I didn't really believe them. I just thought people were just having I guess having dreams. Mind you, I am a follower of Christ. I do believe in Jesus Christ. I do believe in I do believe that we're living in crazy special times, and so I'm not naive to those things. It's just there's certain things I just wasn't sold on. But quickly, there's a scripture in the Bible that says God uses the foolish things to confound the wise. I was definitely confounded. So yeah, so going into this dream that I had, there's two dreams that I want to share with you guys, but the first dream was part of a four scene. So there was the first dream I'm going to give to you was part of a four stage or four scene type setting. But I'm gonna just give you the third setting or the third scene for time's sake. I saw myself back in my hometown. I'm up north right now, but I'm originally from South Florida. I saw myself at the intersection of these two roads that's next to this airport. And as I was at this intersection, I saw a a UFO, a saucer. And this is, mind you, now this is one of the reasons why I didn't want to share the dream because it's really weird. It sounds completely like just weird, right? You talk about UFOs, people think you're nuts. But this is what I saw. I saw a UFO. It looked really nice. It was jet black with it, and the outer rim of the disc was like mirror. It was like a mirror. You kind of see yourself. But it was in the sky. It was hanging there. You know, instantaneously, without any warning, it shot into the sky at like the speed of light. The minute it did that, the next thing I know, the sky turned really, 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 really dark. As the sky turned dark, I was looking up at the sky. I was like, "Whoa, this is kind of creepy. This is kind of like this is kind of scary. Like, Lord, are you returning or something? Like, is this? Are you about to? Are you about to crack the sky? Like, what's going on here? Let me just say my prayers real quick. Make sure I'm aligned with, you know. But as I'm looking at the sky, it becomes really, really dark, like scary dark. And the next thing I know, I see this plane just nosedive out of the sky. It's heading straight towards me. I was with somebody else. I don't know if it was my mother or another family member, but I quickly grabbed the person and I said, "We have to go. We have to go. This thing is coming down. It's coming down." And I start running. As I'm running, the plane hit the ground, but it didn't explode. It did something weird. It started bouncing like a basketball or a toy, and it was just destroying everything around it. Fences, cars, buildings. Everything else is getting destroyed, but the plane is intact, but it's just bouncing like a toy, and it's wrecking everything. Roads, bridges, you name it. Everything is just getting destroyed by this plane. But the plane is fine. The plane didn't explode. It's bouncing like a toy, like a basketball. So the plane deliberately, as it's doing all this, it's just flying towards me though, and I find myself doing 007 moves trying to avoid this plane. Mind you, now, if you guys ever rode a plane before, you know that planes are really, really big, aircrafts, right? The nose is huge. If you've been next to a plane, you know how big the nose, the wing, the tail, the body itself is just massive, massive, massive mechanical machine that coincidentally suspends in the air, right? But it was just coming at me, and I found myself trying to avoid it. And right when I think I'm out the woodworks, and I think I get away from it, another plane starts to tumble out the sky, and I said, "Oh no, God, there's no way. You got to be kidding me." And in the dream, it felt surreal. I felt like I was actually tired. Like I felt like I was actually in that dimension or whatever, wherever that was at. And I'm just like, Lord, I know this is it. I'm just gonna throw in the towel. You can't do this to me. I can't do this. Like, I this is I can't avoid this one. I just got done avoiding this one. You want me to avoid that one? Oh no. Let me just try to get align myself with you, Lord, and just call the quits. I'm going out. And the minute I said that, I quickly the minute the plane right before the plane hit me, I quickly became a huge, huge giant. And the second plane was nothing, right? It's like I absorbed it. It was weird, but it was nothing. And I found myself entering into instantaneously. I found myself in the fourth scene, and like just a whole bunch of people around me and telling me, they're basically like telling me how, oh, how did you do that? How did you know? Hey man, you're like the goat. You're the guy. Like, well, how did you get? you're just awesome, man. Like that was just crazy how you did that. And I'm just like, what was going on? Like, what? Why are these people around me? Did I make it to the NFL? Like, what happened? Did I make it to the Super Bowl? Or win by for any chance? Like, it was just weird, right? And I was just dumbfounded, and I just woke up, and then I was really really confused for a while. I thought the dream meant that if I got on a plane, something horrible would go wrong, and I would just I would end up dying on a plane or something. But that's not what it meant. After a while, I was just asking God, like, yo, what could it mean, right? The plane signified the crypto markets and the stock markets. Basically signified that the crypto markets, right, along with the stock markets, will crash and will hit ground zero. It will not just hit ground zero, but it will bounce there, it will hang there, right? Just and just wreak havoc globally. And so, me being right in the middle of that, the Lord showed me that I guess by the grace of God, I'll be able to capitalize and obtain some BTC, right? So it was just it was shocking to me because, like I said, I didn't when God gives you a dream, at first it doesn't make any sense. I don't know. God has this way where he'll give you a dream and it makes completely no sense. It's like Alien, you know. Speaking of Alien, the aircraft, the alien aircraft that was in the sky prior to shooting up into the clouds at light speed, that signified. The Lord showed me and told me that that meant that there's dirty work at play, and there's not just dirty work with these politicians and these government officials and big bankers, but they're dealing with demonic entities. Like there's demonic entities involved in all of this. So the kings of the earth are mingling and are in cahoots with these beings basically, and it's all tied in, it's all mixed in, tied in, and that's what's going to trigger this crash somehow, some way. It's going to just cause complete chaos, and it's all due to this inorganic crash that's going to be deliberately done on purpose. So that was that dream.
All right, so there was a couple things that I was reminded of when I was listening to this, and it seems like more and more people are seeing some type of agreement, some type of cooperation dealing with human beings and demonic entities that are trying to bring down the markets, right? And this is all an attempt for control. It's all an attempt to wipe out everybody else except for the elite. And so we've discussed multiple people dealing with witches and witchcraft and so forth, and organizations and groups commingling with the demonic. Now, the two planes did remind me what Dr. Maria Conwell said about when the crypto markets go down, then the markets will follow, right? So also I was reminded of Christopher Harris's dream where Bitcoin will crash to zero and then go back up to 10K and then crash again to zero. And so a lot of that, when seeing the plane just kind of destroy everything, when Bitcoin does drop to zero, there's going to be a lot of liquidations, from people and companies, right? And any company that's holding Bitcoin or they're highly leveraged, hedge funds will be liquidated. And that goes for the stock market too as well. Stop loss orders in, all that is going to trigger when this takes place.
Fast forward last September, before I give you the second dream. So the first dream was the first dream I just gave you, that happened in April, Marches. The second dream I'm going to give you happened just recently on October 21st or 22nd. I can't remember the exact day, but it was around that time. Prior to that, though, before I give you the second dream, in September, which was this year, September 2022, on the 14th. Mind you, now, like I told you before, that I'm a forex trader. I trade for a prop firm called FTMO. A lot of people are probably familiar with this. If there's any forex traders that are listening to this video, FTMO is a pretty prominent firm that a lot of non-Wall Street amateur traders, right? That's technically what I am. I don't trade for Wall Street, so technically you're a retail amateur. We used FTMO. They have one of the best deals and options as to how how you want to trade, leverage, et cetera, et cetera. But that's the prop trade that the prop firm I trade for. And so every I have to manage a certain amount of capital and make sure that I don't I don't mess it up. I make sure that I'm able to make a profit week in, week out, month in, month out. And so it's a great responsibility, and so you have to do your analysis every day. It's a real job. It's like a real job, so you don't end up losing the account. So every night I would end up doing my analysis. And one particular night, September 14th, I found this. Basically, it was the dollar or the DXY. It completely it glitched. It glitched and went straight to zero. Now, anybody with common sense that understands the markets know that anything that's pegged to the dollar, right? If something that's pegged to a specific currency, if that currency goes to zero, instantaneously that asset becomes invaluable. It goes to zero as well. Everything goes to zero. So I seen the DXY when I saw it. I thought I was crazy. I said, "What is going on?" Mind you, another thing is that whole time frame. There was rumors that the ISO 222 protocol, which is basically a payment standard that the whole world is going on, right? This is part of the powers that be. This is part of their plan to move the whole world to a new payment system. There's rumors that there were stress tests going on. So, that was also in the back of my mind when I saw this. I thought I was crazy. I called a friend and I said, "Yo, do you see this?" And they saw it. They went nuts. I called two other friends, actually, two or three other friends, and they all saw it. They all sent me screenshots and confirmed exactly what I was seeing on the daily chart. You could see that the DXY had glitched and went to zero. I want to say this when a lot of times when the market usually glitches and gaps, but it usually does it on a Sunday, which a Sunday night, which is the opening or the beginning of the new week. That's when glitches usually happen, and it's due to a lot of volume when the algorithm starts to turn and warm up. That's the best way I could put it. But for it to happen on a Wednesday, right? At I think it was 12:14 Central Time. It didn't make any sense. So that was God's way of showing me, hey Ben, this is this is real. This is real. This is actually taking place. So I'm a very visual learner. God knows that about me. I struggle with faith sometimes. Sometimes the Lord will show me something, and I'll go back and say, I get all hyped. And I'm just like, thank you, Lord. And then 3 days later, it's like, oh Lord, like what is this? What's going on? Are you sure about this? The Lord knows that about me, and so He didn't want to just deal with me with dreams, but He wanted to actually show me, look, this is what's to come. Now, fast forward to October. I was sleeping one night, which was the 21st. I was sleeping, and I saw myself in front of the charts, right, and I was watching the Bitcoin. I was watching the Bitcoin price, right, and I it kind of dipped to 19,500, or it went to 19,500, and when it did that, I told myself, I said, "Wow, I wonder if it's gonna fall now." The minute I said that, instantaneously, the minute I said that warp speed, it went straight to zero. It not only went to zero, but it pierced zero, and it went into sub-zero levels. And if you go on Bitcoin, if you look at Bitcoin past zero, it doesn't say 0.0000. It goes straight into negative numbers, and it went straight to negative $912. I instantly in the dream I started to panic because I have orders on both Bittrex and KuCoin, but I didn't have time to check both exchanges. I just checked my Bittrex, and sure enough, as I checked my Bittrex, I was astonished to see that I caught quite a bit of Bitcoin. It was crazy. It was so surreal, and I started going nuts, and I kind of I kind of had like a little panic attack. Started to in the dream. Started to have panic. I had a little panic attack. I started to hyperventilate, and I tried to tell my mom. The minute I tried to tell my mom, I woke up. So that dream was just so surreal to me because, like I told you guys before, sometimes I struggle with my faith, and I was telling the Lord, I said, Lord, I don't know where to put, I don't know where to put my limit orders. I don't want to be too greedy. I don't want to miss it. I don't want to put too low. And the Lord was like basically telling me like, look, just don't worry about that. Just cast the net, right? Cast the net. When Jesus told Peter to cast his net, he didn't tell Peter, hey, put it a quarter way down or put it a fifth way down or, you know, Go 7 feet into the water. Go to, he didn't tell him all that. He just said, hey, just cast your net. And so the Lord just wanted to show that to me, and just to basically let me know that, hey, you're good. This is real, and I just want you to go ahead and just make sure that you have that there. So this is for everybody out there that's probably, trying to, that is not aware, or, kind of on the fence, especially if they heard it from somebody that is actually in the markets, that understand the markets, that this thing is actually going to happen. Anybody with a set of two eyes and a brain know that we're going to have the worst market crash that the world has ever seen. The signs are there, the economics, the numbers are there, the economic stats are there. It's all there. So this is not a game, folks. It's real. The purpose of this market crash is to deliberately bankrupt the middle class. Just to sum up, if you you don't know what's going on, I suggest do a little research and figure out what's going on. Try to catch up. But it's basically to corrupt the middle class.
Okay, I just want to stop it right there really quick. The DXY glitched and it went to 0. So let's go ahead and look that up here. The US dollar index is at 104.84. So this right here will crash basically to 0. Now you can put in buy limit orders, but for me, and I think most people who are like really enjoy, trading on the stock market, they may do this, but to place buy limit orders for the US dollar index, right? For, maybe if it's going to go to 0, then maybe you would set some buy limit orders for a penny, maybe up to 10 cents. If you are short on funds, I would focus more on the Bitcoin side of things. Now, he said that Bitcoin had dipped to 19,500, and when he saw that, that's when it went to 0. So remember, we talked about Bitcoin going up before it comes down, right? A manufactured spike, right? So the elite are going to try to make their money and then crash the system. That's the way I'm looking at it. So we want to see Bitcoin go past 19,500, right? And maybe not just a little bit past it, maybe further up, maybe 20, maybe 22,000, 25, or even 30,000 for Bitcoin, and then it starts to come down, right? That's what we'll be looking for. But that's at that point we'll be taking profits on what we currently have right now and then resetting up buy limit orders for all the crypto and all the stocks and so forth, right? And he said Bitcoin went to sub-zero levels. So I'm wondering if some of our orders you might want to put below a penny. I don't know if it even allow you to, but that's just something to think about, right? And I wouldn't spend a whole bunch of money doing it. Keep it between the 1 cent and 10 cents as far as your core buy limit orders, right? And he said something very important, just cast the net, right? And that's why when it comes to the Bitcoin phishing buy limit orders, that's why I put all the information out there for you guys and the different platforms and stuff and so forth. Now, of course, I've had to remove FTX and so forth because we already know what happened with that. But you get a basic overview, and there's like over 500 trading platforms all across the world. So, and everything is going to be according to your country and your laws. There are some places that don't allow KuCoin. There are some places that allow Coinbase or Kraken, right? Right now, I'm kind of staying away from Gemini. I haven't put back any buy limit orders back on Gemini. If I do, it's not going to be no more than $20, right? Some of you might take a risk and think it's, you want to, but I think that there's been some issues dealing with that. I know there's a lot of talk about Binance. I'm only using Binance for liquidity. I don't think you can even set Bitcoin buy limit orders that low on Binance, right? I think they have some restrictions on that, and also even on sell limit orders too as well, on certain cryptos and so forth. So, but this link will be down below in the description.
You don't know what's going on, I suggest, do a little research and figure out what's going on. Try to catch up. But it's basically to corrupt the middle class. There will be no middle class. There will be a big chasm between the rich and the poor after this happens. So the Lord really wants to wake up his people, because other things that need to be done, and to set them up prior to this. Quickly, before I go, I don't want to make the video too long. When it comes to these algorithms, guys, I want you guys to understand, like, Everything that you see, whether it's your mortgage, credit cards, loans, student loans, you could think if it's associated with money, it's connected to these algorithms, which is connected centrally to the bond markets, the whole financial system. It's all plugged in with these algorithms. These algorithms are they manage trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. You have the BlackRocks, the JP Morgans, the Goldman Sachs, the Citibanks. They all have these expensive algorithms that are built out, specifically BlackRock and their Aladdin algo. You can look into that. It's called Aladdin. It's very, very, they spend a lot of money on these algorithms. And so if there was to ever be a situation where something went wrong, there was a bug, these algorithms would completely just flush and just send a wave of chaos throughout all of society globally. It's not a joke. And so people need to understand that these algorithms work off of a logic called if then else, which is basically if this happens, trigger this. If that happens, trigger that. This is one of the reasons why I didn't believe in the Bitcoin flash crash or anything that these YouTubers, well, not the Christian community, but just in general, like the hype community, the regular crypto community. A lot of times they'll talk about crypto and how bullish it is and this and that, and they have no idea how this thing works. It works off of this algorithm that, based off of what, for example, what JP Morgan wants to do for the week, for the month, this algorithm adjusts itself and waits till all that liquidity is fed into the markets, which is us, retail, along with other opponents, other banks, other central banks, et cetera, et cetera. They make their move. That's how the algorithms move. They make their moves based off of what the central banks or these big institutions want to do, and they wait till liquidity. They're liquidity providers, which means that they offer counterparty and to the person on the other side of the desk. So if you're a buyer, JP Morgan's going to be a seller, and he'll set up his orders. They have so much money that they can't just put all their money in the markets. They have to spread it out so they don't flush the markets because they have that much money. Like I said, it's trillions and upon trillions of dollars that these big behemoth institutions manage. So I just wanted to, like I said, guys, I just wanted to come out here and tell you guys that yeah, this is real, guys. This is what's going on, and God is the enemy's working, but God is working as well. I want you guys to understand that these big institutions that you see out here, a lot of them are going to go under. This is the same situation where Israel is crossing Red Sea, and when God parted the seas for Israel, Pharaoh and his generals and his soldiers thought that they could cross over as well. And the minute they thought that, God collapsed the Red Sea right on top of them, and they were never seen again. It was the same situation. A lot of these institutions, I'm not going to name names because I don't know which ones, but a lot of them are going to go under when this happens. And so basically, their own algo is going to be their demise. This thing is going to really just annihilate, a lot of big names. Guys, just have faith. Another thing also is dates. There's a lot of people out there that put dates. That's fine. God speaks to people in different ways. I can't tell you what God, what their dream or interpretation of what was. I know that God's given a lot of people dreams. Dates kind of did mess me up, but don't focus on the dates. Just focus on the overall narrative, which is to go ahead and set these limit orders up because this thing is going to happen. God will do what he does when he want to do it. People of Israel didn't know what God was going to do when Pharaoh cornered them at the Red Sea. Few of them knew that God was going to do something. A lot of them said, Pharaoh, Moses, what did you do? You let us here to die. You should have left us in Egypt. But there were the few that believed that God was going to do something they didn't know when. And sure enough, God told Moses, "Hey, lift the staff, part it." It happened. So, also, guys, I forgot this tad bit detail. In the dream, when the crash happened and it pierced zero, it went into sub-zero levels. Because I know people are probably going to comment and ask, what price did it go to? I saw the mother of all wicks. That's all I could tell you. I saw the mother of all wicks. I didn't see where it went back to, but I see it pierced zero, went into those sub levels, and it wicked back. That wick was just massive. It took up the whole screen, and I can't tell you what price it bounced back to, but it did bounce back. It looked like it bounced back towards those levels, those original levels. I just don't know where, but yeah, I do not know what price it was at after it did what it did. I'm not sure, but the wick was so big. The wick was scary. It looked like it could stab you through the screen. That's how big this wick was. So I do not know what price it went back to what price it returned to. It was instantaneous. It was fast. It was quick. If you blinked, you missed it. That's all I could tell you. And I guess in the dream I was too worried about just checking my accounts. I didn't see what price it bounced back to. Just to clear the just to any questions about what price did I see it return to. I didn't see it return to any price. I just saw that the wick it went to zero, beyond zero, then it pulled back quickly, and the wick was just humongous. So yeah, folks, that's all.
Okay, so he talked a lot about algorithms and how they were supposed to react in certain conditions. And when all this begins to happen, these algorithms are going to react, right? We look at different events as far as what's supposed to kick some of this off. We talked about hacks before, like major Bitcoin hacks. We also talked about the XRP case, but also people have discussed, well, if Russia lets off a nuke, right, what is that going to do to the markets, right? Or if China invades Taiwan, right, and then everything else just starts to come in after that, like, right, we get the XRP decision. But one of the things that when this incident happens, there's going to be a lot of panic. There's going to be panic all over the world. So no matter where you're at, you're going to need to be very, very careful. And that's why we talk about our storehouse and protecting your home and making sure that you have everything that you need and your energy needs as well. So we just need to make sure that we have our storehouse in order. And I think that people are starting to work on their storehouse. If you have all your orders set, then you're fine as far as where you're at, then please start working on your storehouse. Now, if we get this manufactured spike, he talked about it before, about it dipped down to 19,500 and then it went down to zero. So obviously we are hoping, and from what the prophetic that we are going to see a short bull run. And I think that a lot of people think that the markets are getting ready to take off, like we're going to have this massive bull run and then it's going to be shut down, right? So that's why I think partly comes in where Dr. Maria Conwell's blind bull dream, but I'll get into that specifically. So all this with the algorithms and how hedge funds like BlackRock and how they use these algorithms to manage their finances are going to be in complete disarray, right? And so, like I said, there's just going to be a lot of panic everywhere, and I think we'll panic too as well, right? But we know what it's for, right? I think that if anything, we need to make sure that we're prepared with our storehouse, because when this happens, people are going to flip out. People are going to start going to the grocery store and buying groceries at that moment, right? And so you're going to see probably a lot of stores getting emptied out as far as food-wise and all that. So that's why you guys need to prepare now and get all that together. And if you don't know how to prep as far as food for your home, then do some research on the internet. He also talked about the mother of all wicks, right? So this is going to be something that's going to be just mind-blowing and shocking to the entire world. And elite that are putting this all together, this is part of their plan, right? They don't care because, they're already going to have enough wealth. And I think a lot of their own are going to get caught up in this too as well. They're going to be brought down to zero. Maybe they think that they went too far, so to speak, right? When it comes to their own finances, right? So when they try to bring down the markets, maybe they don't realize that money that they have in the markets is going to evaporate. And so we look at what happened with FTX, and that's why I think that the elite is so mad at Binance and CZ for exposing FTX, because I think FTX is part of their plan to not just manipulate the crypto markets, but also the stock market. You got to remember, FTX was both crypto and stock market, right? Manufacturing shares, manufacturing crypto. A lot of the crypto that they had that on that exchange was actually fake. And so you might want to look up as far as Bitcoin. There's only 19 million Bitcoin, but one guy was talking about how he did a study and there's actually 29 million Bitcoin. So there's actually 10 more million Bitcoin out there than what they're supposed to be. So anyways, folks, that is all that I have for today. Look out for the next videos. I thank you guys for listening. God bless. TC out.